Hey everybody, you are tuning in to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream. We are so late today, but doesn't that make it so exciting? I know, it's incredible. Hi, it's me, your best buddy Basil. We're going to get the show started here in just about a second, but as usual, just reminding you, go to CanaryCry.Party, join the newsletter. Go do that now. That's very important. You should do that. Stay connected. It's a good way to stay up to date on everything that we got going on, and especially if we get kicked off of some sort of platform, or there's some sort of whoopsie daisies, or we both get the plague and the show is, can't do the show, you're going to want to know about it. And if you're not on the newsletter, you'll probably be the last person to know. You'll be waiting there like a sad puppy, waiting all day long for your favorite podcast to come on, and then it won't happen. So go join the newsletter at CanaryCry.Party. Easy peasy. It's so easy, folks. And while you're at it, go ahead and join the text message list. Of course, you got the info there on the screen if you're watching video, but we'll talk more about that during the show. All right, folks. Well, I will say there is still time to produce this episode, and that would be highly appreciated. I know a lot of people wait until they see the show actually come on, and I can't wait to add you to the list. But it's coming down to the wire, folks. All right. There you go. Support the show at CanaryCry.Support, or you can head on over to CanaryCry.Party as well. All right, let's get the show started, folks. Stay hydrated. Yeehaw.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. We are live to tape on June 3rd, 2022. This is episode 492, and today, Bilderberg better. And signing on from off the grid, Razzle Dazzle, I'm your best buddy Basil.
And my name is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, aka the Cabana Boy, here to serve you a podcast that brings you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ. Oh, we need it. We need it, Basil. We're reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. Mm-hmm. And my goodness, I was telling you before the show how kind of depressed I've been this week. I don't know why.
It's been a tough week, man.
It's been a rough one. So yeah. It's a sad, scary, dark news coming at you.
Sad times, but that's why we got to get together, have some fun, talk it out, and make fun of the lizard people. It's the only way to survive, folks.
What if laughter was the thing that melts them? Here you laugh at them, they go, oh no, laughter! It's like garlic for vampires or something.
Kind of like in the movie Signs, when water was how to kill the aliens.
Right.
You just need laughter. That's what the lizard people hate.
The comedians would save the world.
You ever heard a lizard laugh? Nah, me neither. That's because when they laugh, they die. Yeah,
they suffocate on their own tongue,
split tongue. Okay. All right, let's get to the show here. We got a lot of great stories for you. Of course, the big stories coming out of California. We got a bunch of Build Back Better news, which it's just so entertaining to watch their attempts at making that a thing. Elon Musk getting in on the Flippy game. We've got an update on that. Of course, we'll be touching on some of the more recent gun control talks, as well as yet another shooting over there in Tulsa. Some updates on the Ukraine, and then booyah, baby, a big old pandemic special section after the first break. So YouTubers, get ready. You're going to have to jump over to another outlet after the first break because, oh man, it is chock-a-block full. We're going to have some fun in the second part of the show. Then we'll end out with some space updates. It's all going to be very important. But Gonz, let me help me help you jump into our lead stories.
I don't know what that means. What do you mean?
I know.
Okay.
Let's.
You want me to do the jingles? Because I got it.
We have a lead story jingle.
Yes. Well, no, we don't have a lead story jingle.
Oh, that's what we need. Somebody was asking us what jingle we need. We need like a big, exciting, newsy sounding lead story jingle. Mm-hmm. But let's start out with some woke NEWSOM science.
Are you even woke? Woke up, man. It's NEWSOM science, baby! Ha!
I mean,
that's right.
This is
folks.
Great.
The most pressing story of the day, the most important thing that we could possibly be talking about. California, yet again, redefining not just what it means to be a man or a woman or a birthing person or a whatever. No. Nobody is safe from the redefinition of terms because over here at Insider.com, headline, California court rules that bees are a type of fish in order to protect them under the state's Endangered Species Act. It's always in the name of protecting someone, Gonz. That's why we need to redefine gender. We got to redefine race. We got to redefine what it means, what the very meaning of a bee. It's the only way they're going to survive.
I love the Business Insider header picture is a picture of a bee, obviously stock from Getty. With an arrow, a fish?
An arrow, a fish. Not even a question mark, just a statement.
Oh, you're right. It's a statement. It's not a question. Well, it's a question in my mind, but yeah.
A trio of judges. Oh, God bless you, California judges. A trio of judges in California.
Holy Trinity of judges in California.
I love that it's a judge, too, because we're setting legal precedent. Bees are legally fish. It's not even a matter of social justice. Bees are fish, too. Yeah. A trio of judges in California said on Tuesday that bees could be legally classified as a type of fish as a part of a ruling that gave added conservation protections to the endangered species. Quote, the issue presented here is whether the bumblebee, a terrestrial invertebrate, falls within the definition of fish. Is it? Is this the issue being presented? Is a bee a fish?
It's very important to point out terrestrial invertebrate because that will matter as part of the conversation here.
I know it gets more boring as we go, but just stick with us, folks. The issue presented here is whether the bumblebee, a terrestrial invertebrate, falls within the definition of fish. The judges wrote in their ruling, and they concluded it does. Formerly, the problem for bee lovers and lovers of all Californian terrestrial invertebrates. Love them. Love those Californian terrestrial invertebrates. It was down to the way protected animals had been classified in the state's laws. While 4 bee species were classified as endangered in 2018, land invertebrates are not explicitly protected under the California Endangered Species Act, which protects endangered, quote, native species or subspecies of a bird, mammal, fish, amphibian, reptile, or plant. But the law's Fish and Game Code, which establishes the basis on which plants and...
We lost you for a second.
Oh, you lost me, huh?
Yeah,
okay, let me try again. But the law's Fish and Game Code, which establishes the basis on which plants and animals are protected, defines, quote, fish as, quote, a wild fish, mollusk, crustacean, invertebrate, amphibian, or part, spawn, or ovum of any of those animals. Given that many of the above marine creatures aren't even fish, California has been arguing ever since about whether invertebrates should apply to bees. It's an appeal. The appeal overturns a ruling from November 2020 that was backed by major agricultural groups Law and Crime reported. There, the judge ruled that invertebrates in the Fish and Game Code's fish definition applied only to marine invertebrates like anemones, or sea urchins. But on Tuesday's appeal, the judge ruled that they were obliged to liberally interpret the Endangered Species Act's terms to make sure it could be effective. Surprise, surprise, Gonz. California's trio of judges were obliged to liberally interpret the definition of fish. Quote, although the term fish is colloquially and commonly understood to refer to aquatic species, the judge said legislative jargon in this case could be justified in expanding the definition to include bees. The judge added that frogs are also protected under the fish section because of its inclusion of amphibians. Frogs are fish, Gonz. They also said land-based invertebrates had been protected under the category of fish under the statute in the past, etc., etc.
Oh, it goes into the history and it gets really boring. But, you know, this is
incredibly boring.
This is more bureaucracy, too much bureaucracy. This is part of the problem with California is over-regulation.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
We all know that speaking of over-regulation, I do have my sweet, sweet new jingle board, and I got one just for this, baby. More bureaucracy, please.
Ah, yeah. Great. Yeah, there used to be one with more music behind it, but yeah.
Was that me? Is that me saying
that's
that?
you. Yes, that's you.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Okay, let's keep moving.
Yeah. So no surprises here. Again, California is... I don't like the precedent being set here. You know, legally, with just so much jargon that, yeah, you can just wiggle it around. Why don't you just say bees, man?
Just add bees. That's what I was wondering.
Like,
why not add bees to the list?
I mean, it's just, what's... I don't know. I feel like I'm yelling into a black hole. There's really no difference what I think or what anybody thinks in this state, really. It's just...
Well, the funny part for me is that it is so like egregiously ridiculous, and it is even more hilarious that it's California, but also doesn't matter. We need to protect the bees. Hey, if you got to call a bee a fish to protect it, go ahead, California. It's you guys are on your own. You guys are on your own, man. You got your own sort of set of reality things going on over there, and I'm just trying to keep up. I'm just trying to keep up, man. That's all I'm going for. Well, so bees are fish and frogs are fish, folks. Big update for today.
Well, if the frogs are gay, does that mean that the fish are also? And then
is a gay frog?
What would that make the bees? Are they also of the kind that
they're trans? They're trans. They're trans species.
Sense. Right. Yeah. Well, what about this queen nonsense with the bees? This is the gender thing is not working out. Is it a queen bee some kind of? You
gotta get to the real news, man. There's things going on in this world.
I'm looking at my clock. We got some time. We got some time with this.
Fish. We gotta go.
There it is. KULR8.com. I don't know why it's this one, but hey, there you go. 68th Bilderberg Meeting to take place 2nd through 5th June 2022 in Washington, D.C. The 68th Bilderberg Meeting will take place 2nd through 5th June 2022 in Washington, D.C. About 120 participants from 21 countries have confirmed their attendance. As ever, a diverse group of political leaders and experts from industry, finance, academia, labor, and the media has been invited. The list of participants is available on bilderbergmeetings.org.
Okay.
The key topics for discussion this year. I feel like we can contribute to the conversation as much as anyone here. Number one, geopolitical realignments. Number two,
Antarctica.
Yeah. Number two, well, that and the China split, which is we'll get into here. NATO challenges. China. Number three, Indo-Pacific realignment. Maybe India and also Thailand. Sino-U.S. tech competition. That's China versus U.S. tech competition. Number 6, Russia. Number 7, continuity of government and the economy.
Oh, continuity of government.
Of government and economy. Number 8, disruption of the global financial system. Number 9, disinformation.
Oh.
Number 10, energy security and sustainability. Number 11, post-pandemic health. So there's pre-pandemic health and post-pandemic health. 12, fragmentation of democratic societies. Okay. I would say these are the people that are doing that. 13, trade and deglobalization. And number 14, Ukraine. So yeah, it's like a list of topics that are, that are covered on Canary Cry News Talk, more or less.
Yeah, it does sound like a Canary Cry News Talk episode. Yeah, that's very nice of them to sort of base their sort of world controlling lizard people meeting. Now, it's so funny that the Bilderberg meetings it's such kind of an old school throwback.
Yeah.
To I don't know, to just sort of like fringy conspiracy theory stuff. It's actually kind of nostalgic to remember that they're still holding these suckers.
Yeah, and they are certainly, and it's another one of these kind of think tank group meeting type of things with the elite. It's certainly true. How much it actually affects different governments and their policies and everything. I think over the years, it's definitely had its influence. In the last few years, as people have been critical of this, I think they've backed off on some of the things that they, or at least, I don't know, they're either kind of coy about the greater agenda, or they just straight up say it and say it's a good thing. It's one or the other. It's really not.
It's interesting because the Bilderberg group, I'm sure is still, they've got their place on the pyramid there.
Oh,
but the Bilderberg meetings, it seems kind of old world, Well,
it's Peter kind of Thiel's going to be there. Peter Thiel was yelling about, what is it? Complaining about the old people rule. What's the word? Gentrification or something? I forget.
No, the geriocracy.
Geriocracy, yeah, or gerontocracy or something.
Gerontocracy, yeah. Well, that's exactly it. I mean, if any group represents the sort of old world, new world order gerontocracy, it's the Bilderberg group. I wonder what kind of tension exists between the Bilderberg group and like the World Economic Forum, who is sort of like the new world order globalist sort of centrifuge of ideas.
Oh, I'm sure there's plenty of crossover going on.
That would be the only way for them to survive, that's for sure.
I mean, Henry A. Kissinger is part of this, the Bilderberg meeting, which is no surprise.
You mean the 10,000-year-old dinosaur man?
Hey, they don't die. They've already figured out some kind of, getting old is a technical problem.
It's cold blood, man.
It's called baby blood.
If you're cold-blooded, then you can you last a lot longer. It's like your body is a refrigerator.
Oh, yeah. Cold blood like lizards? Is that what you're referencing? Oh, okay.
That's exactly what I'm referencing.
Yeah, good. So, part of it, I think, is, they've been very open about what they're doing. And part of the Davos conversation, we're not going to really talk about the Davos meeting today. But, there's been a lot of clips coming out of Davos where they're just straight up admitting what they're planning with this sort of world government type of thing without being like, oh, the conspiracy theorists were right. They're more like, oh, they're wrong. Yes, we are taking over, but it's a good thing. We're doing exactly what they're accusing us of, but we don't like the way they talk about us. We're not trying to control everybody. We're just trying to, lead everybody. It's a very
it's reminiscent of the Disinformation Governance Board.
Right.
No. We're not here to censor you. We're just here to tell the censors how to censor you.
Right. Yeah. The police.
You crazy conspiracy theorists.
Yeah. Well, and I was, again, I've been very sort of depressed this week, and then seeing some of the stuff coming out of Davos, there was a part of me that was like, man, this is it's really pointless. And part of the thing that's really defeating to me is even the pushback, because a lot of people, especially our audience, are aware of what the Bilderberg group is and, their sort of negative connotation to groups like this or meetings like this. And to me, what I'm starting to see more and more is that counter operation, like the opposition, the divide and conquer thing, it's almost welcome. There is something to be said about the faction of people who are against all of this, and that group of people being very useful in a sort of end time scenario. So I don't know. It just makes me.
Yeah, you're in the dark night of the soul, my friend. I find it interesting. The Bilderberg group. One of the things that sort of fueled the skepticism of the group was that it was so secretive and exclusive.
Yeah.
And that's one of the defining features, I believe, of the World Economics Forum New Blood, New World Order 2.0 strategy is they are just so public about everything.
Yeah.
Every meeting, well, not every meeting, but they put out so much public information and publicly accessible, marketing and videos and live streaming events and things like that, which is really the opposite of what we saw with sort of a lot of the old world groups like the Bilderberg group. And so it's just very interesting to see them side by side, operating at the same time. And, it seems like the World Economic Forum has adjusted much better to the current world situation and how to get ahead of the skepticism or the disapproval of, a bunch of lizards getting together trying to figure out what to do about all these pesky humans.
You remember the Neil Postman quote? I'm trying to find it. There's an author named Neil Postman, and he wrote a book called Amusing Ourselves to Death. And in the introduction section, which I've quoted before several times, he talks about how there's sort of a 1984 world taking over, and then a Brave New World taking over. And he sort of concludes that we're in more of a, at the time of his writing in the 80s, I think it was when he published the book. It was more of a
Brave New World, where we distract ourselves to death.
Yeah, we have information overload, all that kind of stuff, which is true. But it's interesting how it's both. It really is both. Yeah. There is this system that behind closed doors, all these agreements within countries or between countries to get on this agenda for the World Economic Forum and do all that. And then there's also just doused everybody with so much information that no one's going to really be able to understand what's going on, which, again, with the Uvalde thing, that's a great example of how people's minds are sort of distracted.
Even more of the nonsense.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, I don't know. It's been just kind of a disappointing.
Well, speaking of which, let's get into it. Let's check in on what Biden's doing.
He's going to save us?
He's made some big moves.
He's got a plan. Okay.
A new world order.
When do we want it?
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs. Hairy COVID.
Hairy COVID.
Build back better. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, okay.
Is that you?
Yeah. I was looking for the Build Back Better jam. The Greta Build Back Better.
Wasn't that it?
No, that was the New World Order jam.
Oh, that was New World Order.
Yeah. Build back better. To build back better.
Right.
Okay. But while we look for that, I will bring this to you, Gonz. Big news today. Joe Biden himself, with his own wrinkly, decrepit fingers, typed out an opinion piece that was published on Wall Street Journal. And oh, goodness.
The
media can't. Well, that's what we are being led to believe. This is coming from WallStreetJournal.com. Joe Biden, my plan for fighting inflation.
Oh, yay. Finally, somebody got to do something.
Published on May 30th by Joseph R. Biden Jr. Do you know that Joe Biden was a junior? I didn't know that.
I wish that they would.
I wish they would use his full middle name more. Robinet.
Joe Jr.
Robinet. It's just got such a fancy sort of aristocratic feel to it. So a lot of talk here. I'm going to begin by reading the beginning of his opinion article, and then I'm going to jump down to his solutions, Gonz. He's got solutions.
Great.
How I am going to fix inflation. Finally, He's going to tell us how he's going to do it because he hasn't been doing a great job of that. The global economy faces serious challenges. Inflation is elevated, exacerbated.
Elevated?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's exploded. What are you talking? Okay, elevated, sure.
There's also another interesting thing to point out on this. In 1 second, let me finish the sentence. Inflation is elevated, exacerbated by Vladimir Putin's war in Ukraine.
False.
So he's admitting that there is inflation before Vladimir Putin's war in Ukraine. Because the
exacerbated, war is, right? Okay.
The war is elevating and exacerbating. So it's kind of a way to kind of admit that, maybe printing $10 trillion during the pandemic and funneling it directly to the richest people in the country may have attributed, but don't think about that. It was exacerbated by the war in Ukraine. Well, it wasn't even exacerbated by the war. It was exacerbated by your sanctions, Putin. Joe Biden.
Oh, no, it's Putin. Okay. I thought it was Putin.
No. Putin's price hike. Energy markets are in turmoil. Supply chains that haven't fully healed are causing shortages and price hikes. Americans are anxious. I know that feeling. I grew up in a family where it mattered when the price of gas or groceries rose. That sentence he's literally said 10,000 times in the past month. We've felt it around the kitchen table, but the American people should have confidence that our economy faces these challenges from a position of strength. Gonz, the economy is so bad because we're so strong. In January,
hold on. That really worries me. That the fact that you have to say that is troubling. I mean,
everything this man says.
Yes.
Everything this man says is really the most insulting thing you could possibly say to an American citizen right now.
Part of what my depression today is based on some analysis I was listening to about the takeover of China and the renminbi and how it's going to probably become the world reserve currency within the decade and what that means for the U.S. and its economy. So for Biden to come in here and say, we're coming from position of strength.
We're so strong, Gonz. That's why it's so
delusional.
bad.
It's delusional, but okay, let's continue on. What else did he say?
Oh, see, same for Biden. He's so delusional because he's so strong. All right, let's continue. In January 2021, when I took office, the recovery had stalled and COVID was out of control. In less than a year and a half, my administration's economic and vaccination plans helped achieve the most robust recovery in modern history. Blah, blah, blah. Then he brags about the jobs for a little bit. He brags about, this one is fun. Since I took office, families have increased their savings and have less debt. A recent Federal Reserve report found that a higher percentage of Americans reported feeling financially comfortable at the end of 2021 than at any time since the survey began. Okay, end of 2021. Sure. I mean, the economy was actually doing quite well.
Oh, yeah, the inflation was just transitory back then.
It was transitory.
It wasn't real.
Everybody was lying to us and telling us that the inflation wasn't real. Of course, people reported feeling financially comfortable. And of course, this was before all the sanctions, and they sort of imploded the global economy through the sanctions on Russia, but that doesn't matter. Business investment is up 20% and manufacturing jobs are growing at their fastest rate in 30 years.
Was it up 20% from zero, or is it up 20% from...
Notice how they don't give any... They don't compare either of those two stats to any period of time.
Right.
There's no context. I guess they do fastest rate in 30 years. But, 30 years ago, we had, the American manufacturing. That was before Clinton sent all the jobs overseas. That was before the globalization. That was before. Yeah, exactly. That was before China was sort of what it is now, which is the manufacturing center of the world. 30 years ago, America did a bunch of manufacturing. Okay, but that's all just wishy-washy nonsense. Let me get straight to his plan.
Let's do it.
Okay?
Let's get right to it.
Here's the plan. We've been wanting a plan. Here's the plan. First, the Federal Reserve has a primary responsibility to control inflation. My predecessor demeaned the Fed, and past presidents have sought to influence its decisions inappropriately during periods of elevated inflation. I won't do this. I have appointed highly qualified people from both parties to lead that institution. I agree with their assessment that fighting inflation is our top economic challenge right now. Second, okay, so first, the first step in his plan to fight inflation is literally do nothing. It's let the Federal Reserve take care of it. That is step one in his master plan.
You know why he's saying that? It's because during the Trump presidency, Trump told Jerome Powell to sort of back off on the, he was basically saying like, hey, when you help me out with the economy here. And so
and the economy was great.
It was booming.
it worked great.
It was working. And then, then COVID, everything just happens. We don't know. There was no world before COVID. Come on. That wasn't the real world.
I'm saying, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Biden's plan, step one, do nothing.
Which, by the way, the Fed doesn't do what they promised to do either. They're the ones that were saying that this inflation is transitory a year ago. And they're also the ones that could completely destroy the American economy if they raise hikes, the rates too fast.
Also, I don't know if their primary resprice to control inflation. No, their primary responsibility is to is price stabilization. Sort of
monetary
the main
stabilization
thing. Yeah. Okay, so that's step one. Step one, do nothing. Step two.
Thanks, Joe.
Second,
Joe Jr.
We need to take every practical step to make things more affordable for families during this moment of economic uncertainty and to boost the productive capacity of our economy over time. The price at the pump is elevated in large part because Russian oil, gas, and refining capacity are off the market. Yeah. Also, we haven't built a gas refinery in this country since the 70s. Okay, maybe that's something to think about. We can't let up on our global effort to punish Mr. Putin for what he's done. Oh, so now we're punishing him. We're not trying to deter him or do something. We're just punishing him. We're putting him in timeout. And we must mitigate these effects for American consumers. That is why I led the largest release from global oil reserves in history.
It will bring down the price by 30 cents.
It didn't even do 30. It did an average of 5 cents per gallon for 3 days. His largest release from global oil reserves in history brought the price down 5 cents for 3 days, and then it slingshotted back up. Congress could help right away by passing clean energy tax credits and investments that I've proposed. A dozen CEOs of this is the best part. A dozen CEOs of America's largest utility companies told me earlier this year that my plan would reduce the average family's annual utility bills by $500 and accelerate our transition from energy produced by autocrats. A dozen CEOs. Look, Biden, if a dozen CEOs are saying you have a good plan, it's because it'll make them money. CEOs are legally obligated to do everything in their power to make their shareholders more money. Saying a dozen CEOs of America's largest utility companies say you have a good plan, that means it's a really bad plan, Biden. You do not want to listen to them. So that is step two. Did that make it clear to you?
No, I was just thinking.
Can you repeat to me what step two? Step one was do nothing.
Step two
was
some other autocrats told me that this is great for America and people.
Well, let me boil it down for you. Step two was we need to take every practical step to make things more affordable for families during a moment of uncertainty and boost productive capacity of our economy over time. Okay, so step one, do nothing. Step two, do the good things and don't do the bad things. All right, there's literally not
make things cheaper is what he's saying. Like, okay,
exactly.
Yeah,
that's exactly what he's saying.
How are we going to do that? Are we going to shrinkflation?
Step one. Here's how I'm going to fix. I'm going to fix inflation. Step one, I'm going to do nothing. Step two, we are going to need to make things cheaper. Okay, good. Thanks, Biden. I'm going to skip down to three. And then he has a whole nother
chains.
Yeah, he has a whole nother thing. He's saying we need to reduce the cost of everyday goods by fixing broken supply chains, improving infrastructure, cracking down on exorbitant fees that foreign ocean freight companies charge to move products. My housing supply action plan. So his plan is to, again, do the good things, the things like fix everything. I'm just going to fix everything and then it'll fix inflation. Okay. Thank you, Biden. Third, we need to keep reducing the federal deficit, which will help ease price pressures. This one drives me nuts, man. He keeps bringing up this deficit thing. Last week, the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office projected that the deficit will fall by 1.7 trillion this year, the largest reduction in history. Yeah, followed by your largest increase in history.
Didn't we increase like close to 10 trillion?
Yes.
Something like that over the past 2 years.
That's what printing all the money did. It's crazy. That will leave the deficit and watch, he even admits it at the end. That will leave the deficit as a share of the economy lower than pre-pandemic levels and lower than CBO projected for this year before the American Rescue Plan passed. This deficit progress wasn't preordained. In addition to winding down emergency programs responsibly, so sorry, COVID relief, about half the reduction is driven by an increase in revenue as my economic policies powered a rapid recovery. So this third one is, this decrease in deficit is the pandemic relief. Right. He says half of it is, it's not the pandemic anymore. So we decrease the deficit. That's, again, has nothing to do with him, which is why he needs to say explicitly that it was not preordained. No. This wasn't going to happen anyways because the pandemic is over. And so we're not paying pandemic money to people. But also half of it is driven by increase in revenue. And what does that mean, Gonz? What is the government's revenue? Oh, it's taxes. The plan would reduce the deficit even more by making common sense reforms to the tax code. The Internal Revenue Service should have the resources to collect taxes that Americans already owe. So this is Biden's big plan. It's to A, do nothing. B, do good things. Just fix it. 3, increase taxes and fund the IRS, and then we'll fix inflation. It's wonderful. It's a great plan. It's the best plan. It is just really incredible that this was the big stunt. Of course, he didn't write this. He had a writer write it, but to post an opinion piece in the Wall Street Journal of all places, filled with complete gobbledygook. Total nonsense words about how he's going to fix inflation. And when you really read it, when you really break it down, it's even scarier because he's trying to make us think that he has a plan, and his plan is not a plan. It is his plan is fund the IRS, do nothing, and just fix the things. Okay, good job. So there you go. That's the plan. That's how we're going to fix everything, and we're all very happy about this. And in return, now this was just to touch on this because I want to move on to the Shillzilla. The Corinthian students get federal student debt erased. Biden's been talking about erasing student debt. Long story short, these Corinthian colleges were scam colleges, more or less. Yes. And so there's been this debate or this talk, he's talking about erasing student debt. And it's like, well, whose debt do you erase? Everybody's? Okay. Well, most people who have student debt are middle class people who go to college and can get loans. So you're giving basically free money to the middle class, which is great. But the lower class is not very happy about that. Neither is the upper class, which makes all their money from the middle class. So instead of, doing his universal $10,000 erased off your debt thing, they just picked one group of schools, the Corinthian schools, which were basically criminal organizations, fake scam colleges. So they're erasing the people who got super scammed by these colleges.
Well,
great.
It's actually very convenient because he's sort of getting to do the whole reparations, or at least canceling student debt talk. He gets to sort of say it the same way he kind of milks other things to make it sound like he is so amazing. Which every president does it. It's not Trump did it too. It's not like he's any different from any other president, but. It's just, I don't know. I mean, good for these students who got scammed. I'm glad for them. But yeah, that's probably the best he can do when it comes to canceling any kind of student debt. He's not going to be able to do it for everybody.
And again, it affects even less people. Yeah. Like it's a token gesture.
Oh,
And Corinthian colleges has already been, like it's already been litigated. Like the thing is over. Now these students still owe money, which is unfortunate, and good for them. I'm glad that they got those scam, that sort of life debilitating federal student loans erased, because the whole federal student loan thing is a scam anyways. Yeah. So good for them, but it's also just like a token thing, much like his plan to fix inflation. So anyways, now let's move on here to another aspect, or rather a response from our good friend over at CNN.
Shill for sure.
That's right. Oh, I got the short one. There it is.
A new world order.
You did. We found it. Yay. What is that one called?
Build Back Better with a 6
the file
instead
name?
of a B. Yeah.
Ah, that's where it got me. Okay, I'll find it. All right, this coming from CNN. We're checking in with Chris Shillzilla.
Hey,
that's right. He's back. He's been laying low, man. Not a whole lot going on. There was an interesting tweet he sent out. He retweeted an article from National Review.
Ooh.
Did you see that?
No, I did not.
And National Review, I always thought was kind of dubious. I did not think. I mean, we've brought stories from National Review, but I was always, we were always a little bit. Yeah. I don't know. It was just a little weird about the outlet. But Chris Shillzilla over at CNN retweeted from National Review.
He wants to keep his job.
Because National Review is kind of a conservative outlet. Yeah, very conservative outlet. And Chris Shillzilla retweeted an article, which was just a beautiful sort of database of Joe Biden's mistakes over the past, couple months. And I was like, Chris Shillzilla is posting this? This is crazy. But he did write this analysis. You ready for Chris's analysis?
Oh, yeah.
It goes like this. This is a disastrous economic number for Joe Biden and Democrats. Ooh. Okay, Chris, what's going on? There are a lot of bad numbers kicking around the political world for President Joe Biden and his party in Congress at the moment, but none may be worse than this one. -45.
Man,
that's
that 45
Gallup's
number haunts
I
Chris.
know it does kind of haunt them, doesn't it? But we're talking about -45. So as I read this, I want you to sort of notice if you notice anything different about Chris's presentation here. So -45. That's Gallup's most recent economic confidence index number, which, quote, summarizes Americans' ratings of current economic conditions and whether the economy is getting better or worse. The index ranges from +100, very good, to -100, very bad. The rating from May of -45 is the public's most negative view of the economy Gallup has measured since the end of the Great Recession in early 2009. So just like the worst possible time ever was the last time that it was this bad. Now notice, this is the same sort of rating that Biden was claiming in his Wall Street Journal. Interesting how he didn't take the Gallup poll numbers. Instead, he took the Federal Reserve report on how great everyone was feeling about the economy. And at the same time, the actual Gallup poll has it at pretty much worse than it's ever been, or has been in recent memory. The numbers inside Gallup's index provide more daunting news for Democrats. Just 14% of Americans said that the economic conditions in the U.S. were excellent or good. More than 3 times that number, 46%, said economic conditions were poor, and 39% rated them as only fair. That's even worse than where Gallup found things in April, when 1 in 5 Americans said that the state of the economy was either excellent or good, while 42 said they were poor. Gallup's survey is far from a one-off. In the latest polling from CNN, released last month, just 23% of Americans rated economic conditions as even somewhat good. That's down drastically from the 37% who said the same in December of 2021. Again, that's the exact time that Biden was bragging that everybody was so stoked. And precipitously from 54% who said the same in April 21. Overall, CNN's poll found that Americans' view of the economy are the worst they have been in a decade. Gallup's latest numbers came out on the same day that Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen acknowledged to CNN's Wolf Blitzer that she had made a mistake when she said in 2021 that inflation only posed a small risk.
Yep.
Wow, good for Janet Yellen. Whoopsie daisies. Sorry about that, everybody.
Yeah, we had. I was going to bring that clip to the show, but it's being shared around. So
yeah,
the Yellen clip.
Quote, here's the quote from the clip. Quote, "I think I was wrong then about the path that inflation would take," Yellen said. Quote, "There have been unanticipated and large shocks to the economy that have boosted energy and food prices and supply bottlenecks and that have affected our economy badly that I didn't fully understand. But we recognize that now." Which, speaking as an economist, might be right and true, but in the current political moment for the Treasury Secretary to admit this publicly is a big problem. All of this negative news on how people perceive the economy comes as the Biden White House and the president himself seems to have finally grasped just how dire the political situation is on the economy. On Tuesday, Biden met with Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell and insisted he was laser focused on inflation. "I'm meeting with the chairman today and second blah, blah, blah." Who cares? Let me just skip down a little bit. And that meeting came a day after Biden published an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal in which he laid out his plan for lowering inflation. Quote, "Americans are anxious," Biden wrote. Quote, "I know that feeling. I grew up in a family where it mattered and the price of gas and groceries, blah, blah, blah. We've heard him say this so many times. This is all part of a broader month-long push by Biden and his team on the economy and inflation, as CNN Caitlin Collins and Kevin Liptak reported Tuesday. The duo wrote, quote, "It is not the first time President Joe Biden and his aides have sought to renew attention on the economy, but there remains little Biden can do on his own to bring down prices in the immediate term." Quote, "Yet facing near record low approval ratings 5 months before the critical congressional contests, the president has become determined. Another concentrated focus on Americans' bottom line is necessary to demonstrate his attention on the issue. The Gallup numbers make clear the depth of the challenge for Biden, and time is decidedly limited. With just 160 days before Election Day 2022, unless Biden can turn around perceptions on the condition of the economy and fast, it is going to be a brutal November for his party." End of article.
His party, huh?
Kind of a weird turn for a Chris Shillzilla analysis, huh? No mention of some crazy orange man conspiracy theory. In fact, no mention of Trump whatsoever. It seems like perhaps Chris got put in a little time out and was told to come back and, I don't know, just report on some news instead of, spreading wild, baseless conspiracy theories for the left. So the shift continues. The scariness of the economy. The corporate news as a whole is doing a wonderful job of, letting the people know just how kind of in trouble we all are, which is a very useful sort of social engineering tool.
Yeah, I had a couple things, but I wanted to check this because impeach Biden is actually trending right now on Twitter.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. Yay.
Yay.
It just feels like we're the Democrats now from 4 years ago,
Elon. They're trying to cancel the president.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a very, very sad attempt by Biden and his team there to try to. It's all image perception. There's no actual anything that he's doing.
Too little, too late.
It's not even. It's
the story. It's the story of his entire presidency so far. Too little, too late.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say too little. It's nothing too late. He's not doing anything.
He wrote an op-ed. He wrote an op-ed, Gonz.
He can't even get the support of Chris Shillzilla. That's where we're at, folks.
That's the sad part. When Chris Shillzilla turns on Biden.
That is a new low that we're at now.
That's right.
Must be Friday.
It's Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday.
Yeah, no, I understand. Well, there you go. We can keep playing with the Friday thing.
It's Friday. It's Friday.
Yay.
We interrupt this broadcast to give you a brief update. By the end of this timely interruption, you will be thoroughly updated.
Any updates, Gonz? What's going on? I know you're feeling blue, man. You want to talk about it?
No. Well, maybe, but I had a breakthrough today. 5-year-old daughter graduated from preschool.
Oh.
So that was, and I did not expect her to be brought up to the front of the stage.
To graduate?
Not just to graduate, to play the piano. She had to play the piano, and it was great. So that was really fantastic.
Cute.
Yeah, it was great. But also, it sort of fits in the whole theme. I must be getting older or something. I don't know. Maybe those of you out there who are over the hill maybe can relate. But yeah, it's just the state of the world, and then having the children are a joy. I'm not saying anything negative about that. But it's just really a reminder of your mortality. And it just puts into perspective a lot of things. Yeah,
does the Reaper draw close?
Yeah, and well, I don't know about that, but I am feeling that sense of like, well, the world is definitely going to go on. When I'm physically gone here, but obviously I belong to a greater thing, and I think that's the thing. With finding the hope here has been important with Christ, and the promise of the eternal life and everything else. It's I know it's there, but I'm not really feeling it this week. You know what I mean? Like it's a thing that all believers go through, but it's just been tough. But
rough week, man.
Yeah, and maybe part of it too is, I've been kind of upset at myself about the progress of Age of Deceit. I've been getting a lot of questions. Hey, when's the Age of Deceit 4 coming out? Yeah. And it takes
moving
a long time, man, and it takes longer to create compelling evergreen information that is not just regurgitating current event. Because what we're doing on this show is we're touching on all these stories and everything, but we sort of have a backdrop of like, okay, this is where we're coming from when we're talking about these issues, and to develop that backdrop moving forward, it's tough to do. So just please be patient. I will finish it. I'm very determined to finish it, so it will get done at some point. But I'm not going to put a time limit or a due date on it like I did last time. I thought I would be able to do it, then the YouTube channel goes down, and that really killed my incentive. And now I'm just gonna chug along and get it done when it gets done, and I'll let the Lord handle that. And so please be patient, everybody.
So
out
quit
there
asking, folks. I know what you mean about about the not wanting to just regurgitate other people's material. It's that's partially why now if anybody's ever sent me personally a YouTube video or something to watch, something that really struck you and you wanted me to look at it and maybe bring it to the show, it's why it's really hard for me to do that, because with what we're trying to do here, it doesn't really. I just had my conversation with Derek Gilbert. I'll be on View from the Bunker later this month. And in that conversation, he and I talk about that. Like, we have to be really careful about what we do take in, like what podcasts we listen to, what YouTube videos we watch or whatever. Because if we just start regurgitating somebody else's analysis,
like even us, even all of you, if you're regurgitating everything we say, that worries me.
Yeah. This show is a tool. Our biggest hope is to sort of teach how to live analyze things that you're reading is sort of the biggest goal. And of course that comes out with our own analyses. But for our show, this show does not find its value in regurgitating other people's analysis. And I can see how that's exactly the point with Age of Deceit 4. You don't want to just...
I'm examining a new political and sociological philosophy. Takes a little time to digest what's been written about it in the past and how it might help the underground church moving forward, because that's what we're kind of building here, folks, is how we're going to exist in once everything gets taken over, which clearly that's the direction we're headed. And the country's that's I guess the sad part. It's not so much the state of the world has always been kind of chaotic, and the chaos continues to increase, but it's really the state of the country, the U.S. in particular, I think is what's troubling me the most, because I see, a lot of young people, they're really struggling and their rent's increasing by 30-40% or 3 or 4x, or on some occasions. It's ridiculous. And it's just, I just feel for the people that weren't paying attention, didn't prepare both physically and spiritually. And I could do better with the preparation of certain things in both instances, but at least I don't know. There's just like what is it? The book of Zechariah? Was that the one? Or Lamentations is the one where you read it and it's like, man, so negative. But then,
that's a good one for you this week.
Yeah, I might just lament.
Start reading through some Lamentations
and really yell at the sky.
Well, while we're lamenting, Gonz, we can let people know about our executive producers.
Executive producers.
That's right. We're on the value for value model, folks. No corporate money whatsoever. No advertisements, affiliate codes, platform partnerships. No, nothing. That's because just like how you do not want us to just be a analysis regurgitation machine. Regurgitators. You also don't want us to be a corporate interest regurgitator.
Oh, those are worse.
And that's what happens when you get on that, that company plan, man.
Payroll.
Yeah, you start doing advertisements. You got to stay brand friendly. You have to, if not be outright censored, under threat of losing your, income, you start to self-censor, and that's why we want nothing to do with corporate money whatsoever. And now that's also leaves a question, which is, how do we stay alive? Well, we're on the value for value model, which means we create value. We do it 3 times a week. And if you get any value out of what we do, this is your opportunity, your responsibility to put some value back in. Because if value doesn't flow both ways, then the show doesn't survive. And thankfully, ever since we made the full switch over to value for value over 2 years ago now, The system's been working, and we are going to continue to create value and pray that those who get value understand that it is truly a spiritual sort of rebellion against the way that this world is set up, to break outside of that system, to decide the value of your corporate news analysis and deconstruction media is power that the people need to take back. Enough letting corporations decide the value. And when you do that, we call you a producer, and because that's what you are. If you pay to have a piece of media produced, you're a producer. And executive producers are those who come in, support the show for a larger, bigger commitment than maybe others do on any one day. And that's why we like to honor them and thank them for helping carry a heavy load. And today, Gonz, we do have one executive producer as of now. And are you ready to thank them?
Yes. They go by they.
I don't know. Well, okay. I didn't want to give it away. Is it a man? Is it a woman? Is it a fish? Is it a bee?
It's a fish.
Who knows? But it is executive producer Robert G.
Robert G. Thank you very much. Bob G.
Bob G.
Bob G.
Bob
is a G. That's right.
Bob Gall. Is Bob Gall somebody? Is that somebody?
Sounds familiar. Sounds like something from our show too.
We might need to look that up.
Bob Ross is the brilliant painter.
That's true. Bob Marley is the reggae musician. Yeah. Should we just name as many Bobs as we can? Thank you, executive producer Robert G., for helping the show out. And hey, folks, it's not too late. If you want to produce this episode, head on over to CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
Yeah, head on over there. There's plenty of ways to support the show. And maybe you would like to become an executive producer of this episode. You can put it on your resume, your LinkedIn, whatever. And just, hey, we'll back you up, baby. So go produce the show. It's the only way we can survive. And as we move into even more uncertain times, there's a lot of freedom that comes with not being accountable to corporate interests. We are strictly only accountable to our producers, but that means that the producers also need to be accountable for keeping the show going. And as things get shaky, it gets even spookier. Not just for our producers, but also for us. So head on over, CanaryCry.Radio.com/support. Support the show.
Thank you, Robert G.
It'll be a blast.
Where'd you find this?
And hopefully,
Robert G.
Hopefully he's not Bob Gull, Chief Solutions Architect at Blackbox, according to Apollo.io.
Oh,
that's a scary sounding person that you fictionally came up with. Blackbox, Chief Solutions Architect. That sounds like Bob. Sounds like the kind of guy Biden needs to talk to fix the economy.
Yeah,
how do I fix the economy? Talk to me.
I'm
Bob from Blackbox. I'm the Chief Solutions Architect. I can give you solutions.
Is it Gull or Gull that you are saying?
Gull.
I think that's an actual bird. I think that's a bird. I don't think Bob Gull is an actual man. I think you found a
Illuminati bird.
A seagull who has infiltrated the corporate structure of Blackbox. Thank you very much, Robert G. And, speaking of infiltrating, it's time to infiltrate the robot apocalypse here.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right. It's called the Flippy Update, folks. If you don't know, Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world, and just how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy Update is coming from MSN.com. It is being mirrored from The Street. And the headline is Musk promises a working prototype of a humanoid robot in September. Ooh.
That's pretty soon. Where are we in?
Pretty
June?
soon.
July, August.
4 months.
September. Yeah.
Hey, man. B is a fish, and Elon Musk will have a robot out in September. It goes like this. Elon Musk built Tesla with spectacular promises. This is his strength, say his admirers. It is his visionary side, they say, applauding. But if he has kept some of these...
sentence.
I know. It is.
Are they like super Elon fans? They must be,
no,
right?
You'll see as we read on. There's this whole thing is filled with barbs and poison darts.
Got it.
But if he has kept some of these commitments, they were often not on time. It would be reasonable to say that the billionaire has almost always been late compared with the schedule he'd laid out. And one of his key promises has yet to materialize: autonomous vehicles. Musk had promised that Tesla cars would be self-driving in 2018. Then they give a little quote there. 4 years later, the electric vehicle manufacturer continues to display the following warning on the webpage dedicated to full self-driving, or FSD, its driving assistance system. The alert that they are talking about goes like this, quote, all Tesla cars require active driver supervision and are not autonomous. Ooh, got him. But back to the Flippy update. A working humanoid robot in September? Earlier this year, the world's richest man again promised that Tesla vehicles would be self-driving, this time by the end of 2022. But it is another promise on the agenda that's particularly noteworthy, since it would revolutionize the daily operations at Tesla factories. Musk has just postponed the second edition of Tesla Day, dedicated to artificial intelligence, to the end of September, from August 19th. The reason? Musk promises to present a working prototype of Optimus, a humanoid robot that will replace people in Tesla's factories.
Hey.
Dun, dun, dun. And there it is.
You are already sort of a cybernetic symbiote. Neural nets are taking over from regular programming. So you are connected.
We're connected with Optimus.
Connected. The billionaire had said in January that a prototype Optimus would be ready by the end of the year, and Tesla planned to market it from 2023.
Didn't Elon just say that he's letting go of like 10% of Tesla employees? I think that was a thing this morning or yesterday.
Yep, this is all tied into that. He put out a sort of an email saying you got to work 40 hours in the office. There's no at-home, viewing or whatever, working. No work from home.
Remote work.
Yeah, and he's slashing some employment there.
Musk wants to cut Tesla staff by 10%, according to Market Watch.
Yeah.
And if he's going to have feeling about economy.
Going to have an army of robots in September to take everybody's place. Quote, I think crazy. Actually the most important product development we're doing this year is actually the Optimus humanoid robot.
Say actually twice.
This is, yes, he did. This is a quote from Musk. This, I think, has the potential to be more significant than the vehicle business over time,
actually,
the tech tycoon said during the first quarter earnings call. The latest news has energized the man's tens of millions of followers.
Energized. By the way, I have noticed in local sort of shopping centers and stuff around where I am, and certain ones, especially ones that are tied to China. There's like some very Chinese taking over places here. There's a bunch of electric car charging stations now beyond Tesla. So I'm seeing a lot more of that starting to show up. So just as part of the whole takeover here. Observation. Boots on the ground. Sorry, continue.
Quote, I was surprised that people did not realize the magnitude of the Optimus robot program, the tech tycoon said last month during the earnings call. Quote, the importance of Optimus will become apparent in the coming years. Those who are insightful or listen carefully will understand that Optimus ultimately will be worth more than the car business, worth more than FSD. That's the full system driving or whatever. Hello. Elon, we've been talking about this since 2015, 2016, maybe even before that. We know that you're going to get rid of human workers, Elon. Okay, the Optimus concept is fueled by Musk's desire to replace humans with robots in his factories. It was introduced in August 2021 during the first Tesla AI Day. Optimus looks like a human in a robot suit, nearly 6 feet tall, weighing 125 pounds. Skinny boy. The Tesla bot will use the same AI systems that help power Tesla vehicles, Musk said at the time. Optimus will assist with repetitive tasks around the factory. The company has said Tesla wants to produce 20 million vehicles annually compared to almost 1 million in 2021. The humanoid robot could herald an era when, quote, physical work will be a choice, Musk has said. Ultimately, he said, it could mean, quote, there will need to be universal basic income. In 2018, the billionaire said sometimes too much automation is a mistake. Quote, yes, and then they have the quote there. Yes, excessive automation at Tesla was a mistake. To be precise, my mistake. Humans are underrated, the billionaire said at the time.
Humans are underrated. We still must replace them.
But we must get rid of them. They're not the best repetitive workers. Yeah, so, look, you got to give the guy credit. Just full on, straight up coming out. Yep, I'm just going to replace all the humans with robots, okay? This robot is not meant to work with you. It's not meant to make the humans' lives easier. No, we got to get all the humans out of the factory. Give them some universal basic income, and we'll just let the robots take over. And, like I said, if anybody is in a position to sort of spring this one on humanity, it's Elon, and he's doing it. Well, that's what he's doing. September, baby.
It's interesting how part of the people around the world see it as a very progressive and humanity-saving endeavor here with Elon. But if anybody watched a film in 2011, it was called Zeitgeist, Moving Forward. It was a third installment by the filmmaker Peter Joseph, who did the original Zeitgeist film where he compares Jesus to all these other gods, and he says Jesus wasn't unique, and then that whole thing's been debunked to a million pieces. It's just a horrible,
the Mithra
horrible
connection.
Yeah, just not just Mithra, but all the ancient gods, the rising or dying and rising gods. But this Moving Forward documentary, if you ever have a chance to watch it, go watch it, because he lays out this whole thesis of machine-based sort of AI-run society where the machines sort of take care of the basic needs in this sort of central location, and then as you create rings around it, that's where the more urban and suburban areas people live, and they don't have to worry about clothes or food. The
smart
center
city
machine
is kind of the smart city idea.
Yeah, and the point of it wasn't just the promotion of it wasn't just like, oh, look at it, it's great that they're going to be able to do all this. It makes this argument from psychology that humans need human touch when they're born. Like babies need human touch, and your creativity, human creativity and love and all this stuff has to develop and is something that can be nurtured. And
it's the Star Trek utopia thing.
Right. If we're not spending all our time with manual labor, we will have more time to love and art and create and express. But that's kind of the message that he was going for. And so I could see Elon really pick up on that sentiment and sort of have that as a backdrop, the premise of his whole thing with machines. And I do think that he truly believes that he is going to liberate humanity with this type of thing, whether it's on Earth or on Mars or whatever.
It's the technocratic utopia.
Yep.
And he is a full-on technocrat. Say what you will.
Hey, he's a Republican, though. Hey, we don't want to make him mad. We need that vote.
That is such a great part of the plan, the strategy.
It's worked so well.
Come out as a Republican, but you're still a technocrat, and so the great deception is even greater.
You knew that the Republicans needed that fresh face, that fresh technocrat face to sort of lead the way, and Elon was perfect because his sentiments are more conservative.
Well, that was the problem is the Republicans, they didn't have enough technocrats.
Yeah, have you seen some of his tweets recently, by the way? I mean, he's bashing the whole like gay month thing going on. I mean, it's crazy. I'm like, whoa, man, you're really leaning in to that side of the aisle. It's pretty funny to watch.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, there you go. Tesla. Elon is going to replace us all, and we're all going to get what? Tesla is Elon?
Elon is a reincarnation DNA of Tesla. What happened?
No, he's a clone. He's a CIA clone. Oh, the babies. The babies are on parade, folks.
She hit her head on the door. So
oh no!
Give me 1 second here.
Oh no! Well, while we do that, I'll play you guys this cool song.
Stall for 5 seconds.
Here
you go.
Ah, love it. This is so much fun having my own jingle board, folks. Yeah, and look how in the context of how quickly things are changing in this world, where at the end of 2021, allegedly the economy was so wonderful, and here we are just 6 months later, and it's pretty much as bad as it's been in a decade or more. And in the same way, last month Elon becomes the savior of the Republican Party, and the very next month he is preparing to, for a party that is so puts a lot of value on work. The value
the
of
working
work,
class man,
philosophy of work, the working class, right? And that's you could
that
say
flips too, by the way, between
the
Democrats and Republican.
Democrats say that Republicans don't care about the working man, and that Democrats care about the working man. The Republicans say that Republicans care about the working man.
It depends on what era of Democrat Republican you're talking about, because
I think they would both claim this. They would both claim to care about the working man, and the other party doesn't. But the fact of the matter is, if you got technocrats at the top of the pile, technocrats, they do not care about the individual people. They look at the collective and how they can make the system more efficient. And humans are inefficient. And both parties now have technocrats at the top. And there you go. I mean, that is not a choice. That is not a political choice if both parties are moving in the same direction. Yeah. As far as that sort of meta-analysis is concerned.
Yep. And we can talk about this all day. But
I know we really are. Actually, we're doing a great job of falling behind schedule.
I know. Go to CanaryCry.Party. Put it in your URL. Find the live stream, clips, email list, text notifications, street team posters, show notes, ways to connect with other Canarians, and become a producer.
Yeah. While you're at it, if you go to CanaryCry.Party, join the newsletter there. That's something everybody should be doing. Get all the sources from every show sent directly to your inbox, and get updates on the show if we're going to miss a show or move a show or do something. But you'll also see, I did not know this, Gonz. I went and actually checked it out when you revamped CanaryCry.Party. You can actually play Ravel straight from CanaryCry.Party.
Yeah.
It's a cool little setup in there. So yeah, if you are haven't heard yet, I've got a podcast named Ravel, Ravel, R-A-V-E-L, that I do with Dr. Christopher Ryan Gates. He's a PhD in biblical interpretation. We have tough conversations, but in good faith, discussing society, scripture, and scandal. And we've got episodes upon episodes up there for you folks. I can't wait till Sunday comes, because the new episode will come out, and the most recent episode won't be about babies dying in the Bible. But I've gone through that whole thing. It was very unfortunate timing when we recorded that episode, literally at the exact same time that the Uvalde shooting was happening. But
insensitive Christians.
We kept it anyways. We've got a very good disclaimer, I hope, at the top of the show. But go check it out. Ravel podcast on all your podcast players. But the easiest way to find it is just to head on over to CanaryCry.Party and scroll down to where it says Ravel. While you're at it,
we should make our own show. This is the Canary Cry News Talk available to play just right on there. I know.
Yeah, we definitely should do that. We should put it right at the top. While you're at it, go to Canary Cry Clips, Canary Cry Clips on YouTube and Odyssey. It's a wonderful resource where every show is clipped out. All the segments are clipped out so you can revisit the information that's been on the show without having to scroll through a 4-hour podcast. It's a wonderful, wonderful resource and chock-a-block full of great clips. It's almost more fun for me now to revisit the show through Canary Cry.
It's helping us just find things if we ever need to go back and find something.
Repeat things, so go check it out. It's on YouTube and Odyssey, Canary Cry Clips, and thank you to the producers who manage that. And last but not least, go ahead and text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. That's 877-740-3226. If you text the word Canary, you'll get on our text message alerts where we send out alerts before every show so you never miss a show, as well as, I don't know, whatever. I'll just chat with you. You can technically respond to that text, folks. I'm not going to guarantee. I'm not going to guarantee that I can.
I don't know that you should invite that to yourself, to your life.
I just learned that you can actually reply to those texts, and I do see them. It does cost us money for me to respond, so I'm, probably won't do a lot of responding, but just know that if you respond to those texts, I do see them. Okay, there you go. Do all that stuff. Now, Gonz, we are pretty far behind.
Yep.
Should we call some audibles here?
We could, if you want to.
I mean, it's already so late in the day. We're going to be done at like 9 p.m. our time, which will be like 1 o'clock for a lot of our listeners.
Wow. Yeah, we can.
Let me just mention. I'll do the gun control in 60 seconds or less.
If you want to protect yourself, get a double-barrel shotgun. Gun violence in this country is an epidemic. Watch out! He's got a gun! He's going to steal your banana!
That's right. Okay, a couple things going on, folks. There's a shooting in Tulsa. Here's the dailymail.co.uk headline. Tulsa hospital shooter upset over botched back surgery, killed 4. Harvard grad surgeon who traveled the world serving underprivileged kids, a veteran who held a door open to help others escape, and a devoted mother of 2. Really weird story that it seems like the news doesn't really know what to do with. There was a man who had a back surgery earlier in May. The back surgery did not go well, and he was still in pain. Then he went back for a follow-up appointment with his surgeon, and something happened in that meeting where he felt he needed to come back the next day and shoot the surgeon and a few other people. And, it's a little tough. The surgeon was a black man. The shooter was a black man. It's kind of all based around... like what? Like, it's not children. It's not, we know why he did it. He felt, I think this is a symptom more than anything of the healthcare system in America, which is like the worst in the world as far as developed countries are considered. And, I don't know. I want to know what happened in that meeting, that follow-up appointment that he had with that doctor that had him so, out of his mind to go shoot up a hospital. So that did happen. Of course, there's really not much to go to. You can't do a racism. You can't do a mental health thing. You can't do a lot except for the fact that he had, of course, just purchased some AR-15 style rifles.
And that's what CBS News was the big point. AR style rifle, not even 15
AR
from CBS News. It was AR style rifle.
There's also some big news. Yeah, there's also some big news coming out of the White House. Biden inviting Congress to revisit the assault rifle ban that was in place from, let's see if I can remember. I think it was 1994, and then it sunsetted in 2004. It was not renewed by a Republican Congress. And he made a call to try to get Congress to put that back in place. Assault rifle bans, very strong language coming from the White House. Now, of course, he's made
1994. What'd you say? 96?
No,
you said
I said
2004.
94 to 2004.
Okay, I think you're right.
Is when the previous assault rifle ban was. Now he's got we're not going to play the clips today, but there's some silly clips of him talking about how 9mm handguns are considered a large caliber ammunition, and how it's supposed to blow up a human body and all this nonsense. He's just doing Biden stuff, really. So we'll see if anything develops on that. We'll keep you posted. There was some more nonsense, twisty, turvy, labyrinthian news coming about the Uvalde shooting. NewYorkPost.com. Uvalde police agencies not cooperating in state's review of school shooting. Remember, the school police chief was got voted in to city council, and since then he and his department have stopped cooperating with FBI investigations into how the shooting was handled. Now, he claims he's cooperating, but we're getting mixed reports. Uvalde police and the Uvalde school systems police force have stopped cooperating with the state's probe of the agency's response to the Robb Elementary School shooting. ABC News reported Tuesday, citing multiple law enforcement sources. Local law enforcement agencies in the small town have faced immense blowback for their delayed response to the massacre. Skipping down here, Uvalde School District Police Chief Pete Arredondo, who was incident commander, did not immediately confront the suspect. We know the story. Let me skip down to the not cooperating part. A spokesman for the Texas Department of Public Safety told ABC News that Arredondo gave an initial interview but has not responded to a request for a follow-up interview that was made 2 days ago. Quote, the Uvalde Police Department and Uvalde CISD Police have been cooperating with investigators, a spokesperson told ABC News. Quote, the chief of the Uvalde CISD Police provided an initial interview but has not responded to a request for a follow-up interview with the Texas Rangers. That was made 2 days ago. Texas DPS has not responded to a request for comment. So among the blowback and the twisty-turvy nonsense of the whole investigation, it sounds like the police are tired of answering questions over there when it comes to their response to the Uvalde shooting. And that's the current situation, Gonz. Not a good look. Not a good look for a police chief who is now sitting on the city council.
Yeah. This whole thing, it just seems like another
stinks a little
trail,
bit,
distraction and something for people to latch onto in the, I guess, truth-seeking community at large. Mm-hmm. But at this point, we know the greater agenda, so each one of these things, the details surrounding it are almost irrelevant. You know,
and they're doing a wonderful job of making me tired of caring about it.
I too am tired of caring about it, and I never actually cared too much post the event happening and knowledge of the event happening. Right. But the thing that it does to your psychology in general is, I think, way more of an issue than the policies involved and the details involved. And I'll tell you why. I'm at the school graduation today, as I mentioned earlier. And, I didn't dwell on it, but it did cross my mind of, what would it feel like for some dude to walk in with these, a couple pieces of artillery and just starts going nuts. Like, what would I do? You know what I mean? So it did cross my mind. It was a big room full of people from, a little preschool. So I don't know. I think in reflecting on that moment was the psychology. If I'm having that thought and I've looked at this from 1,000-foot view and, tried to keep a well-balanced view on all this kind of stuff. If I'm having that thought randomly, then I can't imagine what's happening across the country and across the world when it comes to the psychology of the parents and everything else. So
and it goes
that
back
is going
to
to push policy, not the event itself.
Yeah, to the timing of all these shootings, again, now one after the other.
Yeah.
It's really hard to worry about inflation when you are sort of locked in on surviving, like your child is surviving a day at school or going to a grocery store or now going to the doctor.
Yeah.
There's the collection of venues that these shootings that have been happening recently, pretty much spans anywhere you could be as a human in society. School, grocery store, doctor. I mean, what's next?
There was a church.
There was a church, yeah,
There's always
exactly.
been churches, but then a couple churches.
There was a funeral. There was a shooting at a funeral. So it's like, it's a very... If you want to look into who benefits from this, well, who are we not paying attention to because we're so locked in on worrying about our lives, no matter where we are.
The more we talk about this, and this has turned into Gonz therapy show.
Sure.
That is another thing that's been bothering me is how easy this whole takeover is going to be when it comes down to it. The gun confiscation conspiracy has been part of it's been part of a large conversation, and ever since I started studying the New World Order and everything else, that was a big component, was disarmament of the general population, because you need that to have a takeover. But now that the technology surrounding everything, the surveillance apparatus is sufficiently advanced and has become pretty ubiquitously available, things like the Ring doorbell and stuff. I mean, there's just surveillance everywhere. And so ultimately, again, it was always going to go that way, but it would be very easy for the people behind the curtain to start really highlighting all of this gun violence as a strategic move to take away guns or make it extremely difficult for people to get guns and thus, sort of beat into submission some of the constitutional things that made this country great. And it's not that, it's a technological thing too. It's not just a gun thing. So
you can boil it down. You boil it down to, hey, why does the Second Amendment exist? Why is it written into the Constitution? Well, it's very explicit, so that a tyrannical government cannot do what the founding fathers had seen done over and over and over. That's, a lot of people don't like to talk about it. It's not like, it's kind of the crazier part of having that conversation as far as a regular person in the world is concerned. And why do you want guns, man? You're supposed to say hunting or self-protection, not so we can stop tyrannical governments.
So if Joe tried to take my property, I got something to show him.
Right. Well, and you look at, I'm just laying out the facts really here. I mean, not even facts. I'm just laying out the philosophy. I'm not here to fight for anything except for, that is written in the Constitution, that it's to stop tyrannical governments. And especially, when does the tyrannical governments, make their moves? Well, when the society is collapsing. When is a government most at danger? When they can't uphold their duties to the public. When they can't keep, an economy livable.
Stable.
When they can't, when they get too obsessed with, when they send all the jobs and manufacturing overseas, and so everybody in the homeland
this has been a long time coming for this country.
So what's you just think of the timing. It feels like society is literally on the brink of collapse. And yeah, what a great time to try to take another stab at taking away everybody's guns so they don't, put your heads on spikes and start over.
This is something that I think you and I can really get behind. We need to start the laser gun.
Oh gosh,
the laser
careful
gun
now.
revolution.
laser gun.
Yes.
What are you talking about?
No, civilian laser guns. How is this not a thing yet? The military has them. Why aren't we developing our own laser weapons?
Cost? Yeah, Gonz. Look, I know you've had a hard week, man, but we are already on the edge. I do not think we want the intelligence agencies and Susan on YouTube hearing us call for making black market laser guns for the people. It's a joke. It's a joke, everyone. Yeah. No, but I mean, that's it. All I'm saying is pointing out the timing. This would be a wonderful time for the elites of this country to disarm the public right before they completely, fail at doing their duty, or at least what their we need allegedly their duty is as the government.
We need like a force field property shield too. Like nothing can penetrate this like electromagnetic bubble around your property. That's something that I think would help the people at large.
There you go. So let's get to work on that. Come on,
I'm just, I'm trying to think outside the cage, and come up with some solutions because
you're doing a great job, and we should take a break.
Okay, we're gonna break. We're going straight to break. Okay,
so we're going to break.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Here we go. Here's a cat. Here's a cat with sunglasses.
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
All right, folks. Listen up. We're taking a break, and we are going to thank some producers. That's because we're on the value for value model. You heard me talk about it before, folks, and you understand it. We create value 3 times a week, and if you get any value out of what we do here on the show, perhaps you get value from the community that has come around the show. Perhaps you get value from, I don't know, just listening to Gonz work through the blues this week. Whatever brings value to your life. Consider the fact that there is no corporation that is setting the value on this program. The value is entirely decided by producers like you. Maybe you've never produced. Maybe it's been a while since you've produced. Maybe you've been itching to get that demooching. Whatever the case may be, please consider I'm not going to overstate it, but consider the sacrifice that it takes to stay, first of all, integrous in a sort of nonsense news culture when our jobs is to analyze and deconstruct the mainstream news. Does that bring any value to you? And then, the riskiness of the value for value model, where a corporation might have their advertising budget for the year, and that's kind of a stable thing as long as the show isn't rattling too many cages. You're pretty much locked in for your advertising rate. However, when we are on value for value, things such as gas prices and inflation and people feeling financially unstable directly affects how Gonz and I get to keep doing our work and how we get to live our lives. So, but there's lots of pressure to find other ways to fund the show, but value for value is the only way that we can sleep at night. And it's a rebellion against the principalities and the powers and the monolithic monstrosities of corporate value setting of media around the world. And pushing back on that is not an easy thing. Nobody said it would be easy, but it does take participation. As long as producers keep participating in the model, we can continue to do the show. And one executive producer that we got to thank big time is, look, folks, if you want to produce the show, head on over to CanaryCry.Radio.com/support. CanaryCry.Radio.com/support. Executive producer.
Executive producers.
That's right. And like I said before, the executive producers are people who are sending it. And they're going a long way to keep this show going on a weekly basis. And our executive producer for this episode is executive producer Robert G.
Robert G, thank you very much.
Where'd you find this?
Very much. Yeah. Ooh, Sorry, I thought I used my mute button there. Yeah, Robert G comes in with $111. Thank you very much, Robert G.
Very generous. Thank you so much.
Yep. And he sent a note here that says, keep rattling those cages. God bless. Well, you too, Robert G. We couldn't do without you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's talk about the supply drop for a second. That's right. The Canary Cry Supply Drop is an awesome program that we have to thank producers of this show. If you just go to CanaryCry.Drop.com, go there, check it out. You can sign up to support the show for $33.33 a month, and that is $2.77 per episode. Is $2 where else in the world do you get such quality programming for $2.77 for 3.5 or 4 hours? I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even have an analog to that. It is just such a great deal. But if you go over and you sign up to support the show, $33.33 a month, we'll actually do even more. We'll send you more value. It's called the Supply Drop. 4 times a year, we'll send you a package, chock-a-block, full of awesome stuff. The Supply Drop right now, manufacturing has begun for the second quarter Supply Drop. Thank you, everybody who signed up before June 1st. And you're going to love it. Now, the rest of you, you should sign up for the Supply Drop because the value just keeps going, man. You will be ready. And you'll be ready and all signed up for the third quarter Supply Drop. And if you, we run little promos here and there. We might have a promo in the works. And don't worry, if you sign up now, you'll automatically receive whatever promo comes out this quarter. So just go sign up, CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com.
Sorry. Did you have more? You had some more to say?
I'm trying to see here if...
Oh, you know what?
If we had signer-uppers since last time.
I think there was this.
B. K4 6 19. Repeat. B. K4 6 19.
I don't know
weird. I wonder what that means. I wonder why that's weird. Maybe somebody out there knows what's going on. Yeah. No, okay. I don't think there has been any new supply droppers, which makes sense. Okay. So we are waiting for the supply drop, guys. Waiting for supply drop. We got a few producers here to thank, starting with producer Morv, who's on a 98 episode streak.
Morv.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot going on there.
And Morv came in for 33.33. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Morv.
He has a note here, says Happy Friday.
Ooh.
It's Friday. It's Friday.
He sends Psalms 112, 6 through 8. For the righteous will never be moved. He will be remembered forever. He is not afraid of bad news. His heart is firm, trusting in the Lord. His heart is steady. He will not be afraid until he looks in triumph on his adversaries. Thank you very much, Morv.
Thank
you. What a wonderful scripture for today. Next up, we've got producer Joseph S.
Thank you, Joseph S. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Comes in with $21.10 plus fees recurring. Thank you very much, Joseph.
Thank you, Joseph. Glad you're here.
Next up, we have got Sir JC Knight of the Techno Squatch with the 1001. And he is on
1001. Amen.
110 episodes in a row.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much.
And note, Happy Friday, guys.
You're gonna learn today. Cause it's Friday. You ain't got no job. And you ain't got
Yep, Friday.
Basil, are you stockpiling firearms for both yourself and Gonz when he escapes California? Sorry, Gonz, you're on your own, buddy.
Hey, I thought we had a deal, man. What about the laser cannons?
We ain't got. Right. Yeah, okay. No, yeah. You bring over your
them for me.
You bring over your California laser cannons.
There's a supply chain issue, a little backed up. G's not supplying the metal I need, and I need James Cameron to go back to the bottom of the Pacific Ocean and get some kind of onium or tonium.
Or what is it? Unobtainium.
Sure.
Am I stockpiling firearms? No. I pity the fool who is just now stockpiling firearms because they are going to be expensive. If you're getting it from a official place, the stock is going to be low. If you're doing private party, they are going to be squeezing you for every dime that you have.
My father-in-law passed away, as many long-term listeners know, and he had some guns. So I have, I got my little stockpile. But yeah,
you really are from California.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. Talking like that. You just listen to this guy. I got emus, so I'm training my emus to attack anything wearing a badge. So
great.
All right. Now they already just peck at anything shiny, so I don't need to train them to do anything. I'm just telling anybody, if you come near the compound, do not have anything shiny on your person. These emus will eat you alive. Thank you very much, Sir JC, Night of the Techno Squatch.
Thank you.
Next up, we've got producer James M.
James M. Appreciate it.
And I think, James M came in with a pocket full of sevens and fees.
All right.
Thank you. No note. Next up, we've got producer Elena L.
Thank you, Elena. Good to see
you.
You.
A pocket full of sevens here. So I became a calendar producer back in December and wanted to upgrade to a supply drop, but didn't want to cancel the 2222. So I broke it down to 2 payments a month. Oh, okay. I understand, Elena. Elena came in for an 1111 recurring last episode, and she is explaining that she has her 2022 and her 1111, and she's trying to make it the 3333. Okay. Send us an email, Elena, please, because that needs to be put on record, and it will not happen right now. So send us an email explaining that, if you would. And thank you very much for your producership.
Thank you.
Next up, we've got producer bot LX Protocol V2 with sevens and fees. 39 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Protocol V2.
39, yeah. Next up, we've got producer Darren S, and he just started a streak.
All right.
2 episodes.
There it is.
Starting the streak, baby. Sevens and fees, and a note. Thank goodness it's Friday.
It's Friday.
Yeah, it's not doing any. Like usually, it gets me at least a little going, but man,
the Friday
thing's not like
not getting the endorphins going, huh?
I don't know what's happening.
You need some psychedelic therapy or something.
Where's my WEF shamans and my free samples?
Yeah, exactly. Your ecstatic dance class. Darren's note continues. Here's something for the show. You might find it annoying, but I can't stop laughing whenever there's a jingle board craziness. Too much fun. Have a great weekend. Team Original Friday jingle for the win. Oh,
okay. Well, from that
case, I'm glad you're taking some joy out of it because it's pretty frustrating.
It's Friday.
Oh Oh, yeah. Thank you very much, Darren S. And that concludes a short list today. That concludes our list of financial producers who came in the amount of 777 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the shoe. But there's a few more people who came in under that, starting with producer Jabri. Who joined the Patreon. Thank you, Jabri.
Appreciate that.
Next up, we got Jonathan F. coming in. He's on a streak.
It's 2?
I believe it's 2. Although, I don't know,
if it's
man.
3, we got a little extra
I'm
thing.
always messing up on this thing. Yeah, it is 3.
It is 3?
It is 3.
Oh,
yeah.
he is heating up.
He's heating up.
There you go.
Next, we got Sir Casey the Shield Knight, 163 episodes in a row.
Yep.
Keep it going for Sir Scott Knight of Truth, 153 episodes in a row. Streak Sisters coming in, Veronica D and Gail M, both on a 128 episode streak.
Streakers. Oh, yeah!
Women rule! Next up, we got Jackie Yu on a 68 episode streak.
68. Oh, that is this one. Yeah.
Women rule! Next up, we got Sir James Knight and Servant of the Lion of Judah, 95 episodes in a row.
Right.
Almost to 100 there, Sir James.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. Next up, we've got Runk Smash, and I don't know how this has been happening, and Runk Smash has been so gracious to not complain about it, but we keep forgetting to thank Runk Smash for producing, and it's been like 4 episodes.
Oh, seriously?
Which means, yeah, Runk Smash, we need to give him, let's see, well, he's 10 episodes in a row now.
So he's
we did
probably
give
on
him
fire.
We gave him his 6. We gave him his on fire.
So he's lit.
He's lit. Yes.
Where'd you find this?
Hey, you lit now.
Thank you very much, Frank Smash. I don't know how that happened.
Oh, and he's on a streak, and yeah, we give him the Streakalicious. Right?
Oh, yeah. Streakalicious.
Streakalicious, baby.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. That's all of them. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. It's the only way that we can continue. Starting off, we're just having to gain some momentum here at the beginning of the month. But just remember, the show, it only survives and thrives because of producers like you. We have a daming to do today, Gonzo.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
All
Now,
right. You
for those who don't know,
me.
the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames is a very special group of producers. These producers have supported the show in the amount of $1,000 or more, sometimes all at once, sometimes over time, perhaps on an installment plan or the supply drop or something. If you out there think that you have reached that amount, go ahead, send in your accounting, of course, and we would be happy to either dame you or knight you or however it may go, introduce you to this seat that we have saved for you here at the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. And today we are making good on a birthday present from William. Right. Yeah, from William to his mother, I believe, Lacey. So Lacey F, as soon as we hold on, we got to set up the tapestry here. We need to get the food ready. Okay. Oh yeah, we got a sword. You got your katana. There we go. All right, we want to call up Lacey F. Please step forward to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, where we have a seat for you. Thanks to your generous support in the amount of $1,000 or more, we are proud to pronounce you Dame Lacey, Lady of the Moss-Covered Forest Floor. Please join us at the Canary Cry Roundtable, where we have the belt of truthful truthiness, the breastplate of righteous righteousness, custom fit Birkenstocks to carry forth the gospel of peace, the shield of ferocious faith, the helmet of substantiating salvation, the supernatural sword of the spirit, and of course, adorable samurai babies, infinitely cute kitties for cuddling. And if you're hungry, we have fancy feast, wet food, carved Cosmo, the crisper cow, and of course, fried wormicorns. Welcome to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. Dame Lacey, Lady of the Moss-Covered Forest. Oh, that's right. Everyone around the world, and thank Dame Lacey for supporting the show, and thank God for Dame Lacey. Henceforth, Dame Lacey, Lady of the Moss-Covered Forest Floor. What a wonderful event. We'll make sure to update the knighthood list on the website someday soon, folks. We'll take care of that for you. There you go. Yeah,
all
everybody
right.
in the chat very happy, very excited. What a wonderful gift to give anyone, but especially your mother.
Yeah, that actually did it for me. That made me feel pretty good today. So thank you. That made my day.
We got the pleasure center firing for Gonz there. Good. All right. That concludes everything that has to do with supporting the show financially. And thank you all for your patronage.
Oh, I forgot I turned it down. Here we go.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage.
Please leave a message after the tone. At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message.
That's right. Go to CanaryCry.Newstalk.com. There will be a little tab, a green one, a bright green tab. Click on it. It's just begging to be clicked on. And then, you can leave us a message by clicking another button. It's amazing what technology can do nowadays. You are agreeing to let us play the message, but it's not guaranteed. Got anybody coming in, Gonz?
Yeah, I have not reviewed this one, so we'll see how it goes. It's from Shylock.
Okay.
Basil, Gonz, Shylock here. Hey, just had one thing I want to say. I think you guys are too big on the screen, because when you put your background stuff on, stuff you read or the videos, you're covering up like 3/4 of it, and it's hard to see. Well, we can see things, but you're covering up a lot of it, and the words too. I don't know. Is it just me? I think you guys are just too big. But hey, love the show. You guys are freaking awesome. Keep it up. Peace.
Thanks, Shylock. It's funny.
Well, to solve this problem, we were switching cameras. You must have missed one or something.
Well, it's sort of hit or miss when it comes to going full screen when you're reading an article, and then if I got to go back to us when we're talking. So people have to realize I'm doing video switching and jingle board and content for the show, and so there's a lot going on. So the least of my sort of focus when it comes to this is the video switching. So I will try to be better with that. But we do have we do
working on it. It becomes second nature the more you do it, and we just started doing it. Yes, we have changed the format just a little bit. We are bigger on the screen. We have been told many times that people want us bigger on the screen. So that's what we're doing. But in order to solve the problem, we will be switching or attempting to switch over to full screen article reading mode or video playing mode.
There's Basil's solo Baz. You can go in solo Baz.
Yes, we've got the one shot.
There's one shot of me.
2 shots.
And then
once
both
we
of
get
us holding hands.
If we ever get in the same place, we can actually be in the same room and do all this and have an actual producer doing these things. But until then, it's us, baby. We're doing the best we can. Thank you for the message, Shylock.
Thank you, Shylock. That's it.
Any other? That's it. Okay, easy peasy.
Yep.
Let me get back here. I think. Oh, you know what we are going to do is let's do these reviews real quick.
Okay, hold on. And another curveball. Always fun. Here we go. I got you. Look, you're covering up the review, man. You can't see anything.
Oh my gosh, covering up the review. Thank you for the reviews. Those who left us reviews. Reviews are very important. Reviews and ratings on Apple Podcasts. They go a long way to sharing the show with people who have never heard it before. You know, if we get 5 or more of those a week, those algorithms really kick into high gear, really helps us out. Something that Gonz and I have no control over, which apparently is a growing list of things on this show. But you, dear listener, hold our fate in your hands. So please head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and a review. It's easy to do. It's fast. Most of you, 99% of you, are listening to this on Apple Podcasts anyways, so you might as well leave a rating and a review like a productive member of the Canarium. This week, we only got 3 reviews, Gonz. 3 reviews. So we will not be going ooh-woo, but let's read these reviews.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Got one from Mattis Pogi from the United States of America. 5 stars. Thanks for a great podcast. You're welcome. I really enjoy listening to the show. This is one of the best sources of information for all things news and how it could relate to the Word of God. It is entertaining, great to listen to. I'll try to write a better review later. I just didn't want to disgrace my family any longer. Oh, this is from LX Protocol V2.
Oh,
thank you very much.
The protocol has feelings.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. We have one from Red Ronin here from the United States. 5 stars. A very cool show, he says. Are you a fan of the New York Times, NPR, Dateline, Fox News, CNN, or Coast to Coast AM? Well, then you need to listen to Canary Cry News Talk. Start with episode 1 and never look back. You will not regret it. Hashtag CCNT, CCR, Canary Cry News Talk, Canary Cry Radio, Joe Conspiracy Theory, Face Like the Sun, Resurrection. Wow.
Whoa, doing work.
I don't know about starting from episode 1. It's, I guess, actually, I could definitely see how there's value starting from episode 1. It is going to be an entirely different experience at episode 1. And, now here, almost episode 500. You can experience the evolution. Now, the first 140 episodes are only 29 minutes each, so you can blow through those in a weekend probably.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Red Ronin. Next
Ronin.
up,
How come mine shows up as DRST33?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. It was the same review. It was just different
Same
name.
review, different name.
Yeah.
Huh. Next up is Hee from the United States of America. 5 stars. Borrowed niece's phone to leave this. Guys, if you're cheating the system, you don't have to say that you're cheating the system.
We have so many reviews of people borrowing friend, mother's, sister's,
and
daughter's phone. I'm sure the algo is like, cheating.
I guess. I mean, I think maybe, I don't know, maybe I have a twisted view on it. I'm thinking, yeah, if somebody is reading the review and they're like, oh, this is just somebody leaving more. I don't know. Maybe it's fine. It's fine. Don't listen to me. I'm just complaining. Thank you, Hee. 5 stars. Borrowed niece's phone to leave this. If you want a real take on world events, this is the podcast for you. These guys bring a wholesome feel and some comic relief to things going on in the world today. Basil and Gonz will make you feel like family. Much love, Elena. Oh, thank you, Elena.
Thank you.
Okay, that is all the reviews. And if you're out there and you have not left a review, we are going to try to get to 5 by next Friday. So stop stalling, folks. But don't take it from me. Take it from Gonz's grumpy uncle.
Ugly, horrible person. You must leave review on iTunes. And if you do not, you are ugly, horrible person. You bring shame to family. Ugly, horrible person.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I think we're done. YouTube, go find somewhere else to watch the show, baby.
All right.
It's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
You got to say bye to YouTube.
Bye-bye, YouTube.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure?
Go to Twitch, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is. You can find all those links at CanaryCry.Party as well.
Too hot for YouTube.
YouTube. Now you see me. Now you don't.
Okay, we're going to